So I have a question.
Yes.
Did the Titans have a game today?
I don't think so.
Did they play? Then why are we here? If they didn't have a game, then why are we doing a podcast?
I don't know.
But I did see the Texans. They put up 57 points on somebody.
Oh, 57?
Who let that happen?
That's gonna be like an NFL record this year.
That says the Titans. That was against.
Oh God. Oh gosh.
What just happened, man?
Oh, that.
What?
No, you're exactly right. What did just happen? We're confused.
See? That wasn't the Titans team that we had been seeing.
No, that wasn't the Titans team
They were imposters.
What? I am left speechless. Speechless after this game, so we can end the podcast here because I don't have anything to say. JK, I have a lot to say, man.
You've got some rants to go off on. Where do we start?
First off, let's welcome everyone into our recap podcast for the Titans versus Texans game. If you can even call it that, if you can even call it a game, because the Texans, I would say obliterate, but I don't think the word obliterate does it justice. Mm-hmm. They beat us 57-14. 57 points, by far the most points that the Texans franchise has ever scored in a game. I think their highest was like 40 something.
They showed the record was broken when they had like 47 points.
Yeah, and then they continued to put up points. And I don't know if shock is the right word or anger or it's a mix.
It's a mix.
I feel like there's a part of me that died today / is just can see the gates to hell before me, and I almost want to step through them after this game. It sounds
like a better place than where we're at right now.
It does.
Not to overreact or anything.
No, we are definitely not overreactors here,
we're not those kind of people.
Anyways, we watched the game today from neighbors at Sylvan Park, an away game versus the Texans, and they dominated. So
it was not fun.
Let's get into this game. I don't know where to start, honestly. Justin, give me your take.
Give
me your take on the game.
We just came out flat and slow again. Mariota, yes, he got his hamstrung strung out, and we'll probably get to that later. Throws a pick, opening drive. Not the way you want to start out on the road, obviously, against a division opponent. And then our defense, I think the game plan, I guess, was to force them not to punt at all throughout the entire game. Because we could not stop them to save our lives.
That's a very good strategy if you're going up against an NFL opponent.
But for real, to not be joking or anything, it looked like we had done zero prep and game film on DeAndre Hopkins and had no idea what this guy could do at receiver. Like, what were we doing guarding him? We were putting defenders out on him on an island one-on-one with guys like Bryce McCain, LaShawn Sims, Dory Jackson. Like, we tried everybody one-on-one. It looked like none of our defenders were getting any help, and he was just tearing us up. Beating our defenders, each and every single guy that we put on him.
I think that is a definitive point. One, I think the overall point is we couldn't stop their offense no matter what. I mean, Will Fuller had 2 touchdowns on his own. It wasn't just DeAndre Hopkins, and it wasn't just Will Fuller. Honestly, it came down to Deshaun Watson, who you know what? Welcome to the NFL, Deshaun Watson, because
we put him on his path to the Hall of Fame, it looks like.
He just had his coming out party against the Titans, which is this uncharted territory? I feel like Matt Barkley had his day last year against us. We're always the team that lets quarterbacks, get their foot established in the NFL, and Deshaun Watson just did that, tying the NFL QB rookie record for 5 total touchdowns today. 4 touchdowns through the air, 1 touchdown on the ground. Deshaun Watson was just on fire. In fact, the Texans dominated from the I'm not going to say from the opening kickoff because we actually got the ball, but from the very first drive, they dominated us.
They did dominate
from our opening offensive drive. They got the pick.
Yeah.
Immediately scored a touchdown. We went 3 and out, started the game without converting a third a third down early.
Did they have more touchdowns than we had first downs?
No.
There's a stat for you. That explains
There
the
was
game.
a stat. I believe towards the end of the game, they had 7 touchdowns and we had 8 first downs.
They doubled us in play total.
Yes.
didn't they?
Yeah. I think if you're going to look at any stats besides the score, which I think is huge, 57-14, that's ridiculous. They beat us by 43 points. That doesn't happen.
If the Titans were spotted 42 points at the beginning of the game, we still would have lost with a 42 point advantage.
Yeah,
but
all across the board, they total yards, they put up 445 total yards to our 195. We had 195 rushing yards alone against the Seahawks last week. This week, we can only put up 195 yards total. And then total plays, offensive plays, they had 78 to our 41. They almost doubled our total plays on offense, which leads to time of possession. They almost had it for 20 more minutes than we did. They had 39 minutes and 41 seconds, and we had it for 20 minutes and 19 seconds. So almost a 20-minute difference.
Defense could not get off the field. We could not stop their drives.
Nothing was going right. All right.
33 first downs to 9 first downs in the game. 33 first downs.
Where did you see that? Is that
at the very bottom on the right?
The very bottom on the right. I trust you. I just haven't seen it first.
Look at the bars.
30. Yeah. And then we had 5 turnovers to their 1 turnover, which honestly, their 1 turnover was kind of like a desperation before half. Deshaun Watson just getting a little too cocky, thinking he can put up another touchdown on us.
And really, it just saved Marcus's second interception because he had that second interception in the 2-minute drill before halftime, and then we just happened to thankfully get that pick by Kevin Byard to neutralize Marcus's second pick.
Okay. Let's get in. Let's dive deeper into this game, Justin. It's already been it's an open wound and it's bleeding profusely, and we might bleed out. But we wanna search a little more into this wound, see what caused it, and see if there's any way to stop it, which I'm not sure is possible. You're welcome for that analogy. I will be beautiful. Here all week. Okay. I don't know where to start. Offense, defense, whatever. I'm gonna start with this. And I'm gonna get very rash on you here, Justin, in this post game podcast. Irrational. I'm not or irrational, maybe, possibly, depending on who's listening. 57-14. Yeah, we just got done. We just got back from neighbors, having fun, not having fun, watching the game.
That wasn't fun.
57-14 against the divisional opponent on the road. I think that kind of loss in the NFL is a fireable loss for someone.
Oh. Hot take.
Either it may be, this may be a hot take. I may be a little, hot off the game, heated after the game, but seeing that loss, 57-14, and then putting it in perspective to how we've played on the road against divisional opponents. I'm going to throw it back, and I know you've already harped me on this from earlier in the day, but how we start against divisional opponents. Last year, dating back, we played at Houston. We went down 14-0. Couldn't pull ourselves out of that hole. We went to Indianapolis. We're down 21-0. Couldn't pull ourselves out of that hole. We go to the Jags. We're down at halftime. I believe it was 19-7. Marcus got hurt in that game on Christmas Eve. Playoffs hopes dashed. AFC South hopes dashed. If there's a weakness in Mike Mularkey's coaching, it is playing divisional opponents on the road. He does not prepare his team well. I know we came out and we beat Jacksonville 2 weeks ago handily on the road, but that was mainly in the second half. In the first half, you're looking at a 9-6 game, I believe. Is that correct?
6-3.
6-3
or 9-3
or 9. I don't know, but I think that's speaking more to how the Jags played. I mean, they just lost to the Jets today in overtime, so I'm not saying the Jags are a very quality opponent at the time. Or at this moment, but I'm saying that in preparation for the game, Mike Mularkey and his coaching staff is possibly inadequate when he's getting outcoached by our coaching opponents. Yeah. Bill O'Brien.
It was bad today.
I think I tweeted at halftime that at halftime we were straight getting outcoached and outplayed in every aspect of the game. Marcus had made a few big plays by himself to run the ball into the end zone. But other than that, the defense had gotten completely just trashed.
I mean,
by
it looked
the Texans offense.
Looked like the offense had made some adjustments. We were starting to move the ball on them in the second quarter. Marcus Mariota hitting some throws, hitting Matthews and Walker before during both of the touchdown drives where he finished it off with the run. But yeah, the defense could never get adjusted and couldn't figure out what to do with their offense. Every single play they were running was working. We could not get one positive play on defense going.
Yeah, I mean, we started the game down 21-0 after the first play of the second quarter, where Deshaun Watson threw his second touchdown. He already had one. I guess Lamar Miller had one rushing touchdown at that point. Mm-hmm. At what point does a 43-point loss against a division rival on the road, when your team just came off a week where we were ranked as Power Rankings 5th overall team, and this isn't when it just happens once. That's, you may just put it as like a little blot, a little asterisk on the chart. Oh, we were off that game. This is starting to become a consistent thing with Mularkey and his coaching staff. At what point do you think that I've always been a Mularkey fan. I think you've been a Mularkey fan. I think he buys into the identity.
Always, as far as looking at what we did last year, throughout the course of the season, and buying into what was happening. We've never been too critical on Mike Mularkey and his coaching staff. But at what point do these little asterisks start becoming a trend, start infiltrating to where it's a deeper coaching issue? If we want someone to just buy into the identity that John Robinson and Amy Adams is trying to establish, I feel like we can find another guy that can buy into that identity and then also coach better. Get the team ready in preparation for divisional opponents. What were we doing this week? Like, it looked like we just kind of took the week off and didn't practice or prepare at all.
That's exactly what it looked like. And so I'm asking you, I think out of the three that are now propelled to possibly the hot seat, honestly, I think Mularkey is the safest, but I think after this game, you're looking at Terry Robisky, which a lot of people have had questions through.
Everyone's kind of been on his back.
Yeah, everyone's kind of been on his back through this season, maybe even some last season but especially this season with the weapons we've added. I know we've had some injured. And then also Dick LeBeau. We act like he's untouchable, but and I know Cassel threw a pick six and we had 5 turnovers, but the defense, I think they're on their first 8 drives, they scored points, either touchdowns or field goals. At what point is Dick LeBeau not untouchable anymore?
Yeah, I think you raise a good point. Because we saw the last 2 weeks, like, our defense was stout. The Seahawks could not get anything going until the second half. We were stuffing the Seahawks. Jacksonville's offense looked awful against us as well. And they've been inconsistent. They're as inconsistent as they come this year, so it's hard to tell with them. But yeah, this was not a good look for Dick LeBeau and the defense. 57 points. That does not happen in the NFL.
To a rookie quarterback. Making his third start in the NFL, a guy who, didn't even go in the top 10. I'm not saying he's bad. He won the national championship last year with Clemson. But
it was 12 overall.
It was close to top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's not a top 10.
He's a rookie.
He's a rookie in his third NFL start, and he puts up, you said Hall of Fame numbers. 4 touchdowns passing, 1 interception, which was kind of forced, 1 touchdown rushing.
And how many rushing yards did he get? 24.
24.
The defense just did not look prepared. I can pick and choose plays. Like, it was driving me crazy the way that and how predictable it seemed that they would be going to DeAndre Hopkins, and they'd get it every time. Remember on that 3rd and short play? It was like 3rd and 2, and I think it was Adoree Jackson was playing like 10 yards off of the line of scrimmage from him, and DeAndre Hopkins just runs up 5 yards, stops, turns around, and catches the ball.
Yeah,
when Adoree gets there. Like, what's the strategy? I don't understand, defensive concepts or anything like in depth at all, but that just doesn't make any sense as a viewer watching the game unfold on TV.
It was very confusing. One, I think in our preview episode, we mentioned that we thought DeAndre Hopkins was probably the best player on the field, definitely best receiver of the court. Yeah. We saw a variety of players go up against him: Adoree Jackson, Logan Ryan, Bryce McCain. Which I'm still questioning. Why is Bryce McCain guarding DeAndre Hopkins on 3rd and shorts?
Yeah,
even if the other guys haven't been working, I still want to see Adoree and Logan Ryan and LaShawn Sims being matched up, across DeAndre Hopkins on critical 3rd downs. But I'm seeing Bryce McCain out there. But he tore us up, and you could see his reactions after plays where he had the attitude about it. He had the arrogance.
Like, they can't guard me.
And
like,
you know what? I would be right there with him. We couldn't guard him. We had no answer for him. We saw a lot of only 3-man rush today in the defense, which didn't pay out. I mean, it didn't pan out. We couldn't get pressure on Deshaun Watson. We couldn't sustain pressure definitely through the whole game. I think we only ended up with 1 sack on him. We did pressure him a little bit at times, but not enough to where he had to, force anything or make plays. I think, honestly, the only one forced pass I saw him make was the interception to Byard right before half, where I kind of think he was just, at that point, kind of starting to get cocky. They were kind of controlling the game. It's right before halftime. Why not take a shot towards the end zone? We just turned it over 2 times in the first half. I'm really confused. Why do you think that Dick LeBeau kind of dialed back the pass rush on this game? Only decided to rush 3.
Usually he's that defensive coordinator that's dialing up exotic blitzes and
against a rookie, against his first. I mean, I know they played the Jags, where the Jags tore him up for 10 sacks. Why couldn't we duplicate that at least half? I would take 5 sacks on Deshaun Watson.
And I think they had an offensive line go out of the game.
Offensive lineman,
yeah, and I don't know. We just could not. We could not generate any consistent pressure. And I mean, our front 7 isn't bad. We have talent. We've got big talent. We've seen them perform many times last year. A couple games this year. We got a lot of pressure on Wilson last game, and the Texans O-line is not that big of a step up from the Seahawks O-line.
I mean, well, the Seahawks O-line is pretty bad.
Yeah, but Houston's is by no means one of the best. I don't even know if they're top half in the league.
Definitely not.
I mean, maybe the plan was just to drop as many people as we could in coverage, and we kind of had to rely on those 3-man pass rushes to get to Watson, but that obviously wasn't working. And Watson was sitting back there and hitting his receivers.
I mean, he looked good on his first.
He looked like the best player on the football field today.
He did. Watching the first half, there was no one that was going to stop him and DeAndre Hopkins. And also, critical comeback for the Texans team. Will Fuller just decides to be healthy for this game against the Titans.
He's killing us.
Puts up crazy numbers. No one could guard him as well. I mean, he only had 4 catches for 35 yards, but 2 of those 4 catches were touchdowns. Hopkins was unguardable. It really looked like the money that we spent on the secondary in the offseason was wasted here. But I think that is attributed to how we couldn't really pressure Watson into forcing anything. He had all the time in the world, which was very confusing, which is one reason that I am starting to question Dick LeBeau.
Questioning the Dick.
I mean, it was one thing if
LeBeau.
the guy's just making plays back there, but it looked like the defensive strategy not only didn't work, it just completely backfired to where we gave up 57 points.
Yeah, I think we felt pretty confident that we could send 3 and 4 guys to rush the quarterback, drop everybody else into coverage, and that would be sufficient. But when that didn't work,
and we
had no answer.
Where did that idea come from? I feel like in the past we knew that if we weren't getting if we weren't getting pressure from, say, Arakpo or Morgan or someone else, then our D-line, outside of Jarrell Casey, our defensive line is not that strong. In fact, I would go as far to say it's pretty weak. Daquan Jones.
We haven't seen enough from Jones or second-round pick last year, Austin Johnson.
Yeah,
he hasn't really shown up.
Who said
Kevin
the name
Dodd.
Carl Klug this year?
I mean, I finally saw him play more this year or this game.
He was a dominant force last year. I know he dealt with the critical injury in the offseason, but I thought he was supposed to be back. But outside of Casey, Casey's had a pretty inconsistent year so far, the D-line is looking very weak. And as far as our linebacker depth, when you're looking at, we have a few good pass rushers based on their statistic output last year, but you can scheme to shut them down as Houston did, and when that happens, our secondary really gets exposed. Our new look secondary.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, that our secondary with the scheme and how we are playing their receivers, that combined with our pass rush plan, both of those things not working out, that spells doom for 57 points apparently.
Yeah, but I don't want to put it all on the defense. I think that was a major point because we couldn't stop them at all. I thought even going into halftime, we were down 24-14 at that point.
It was 30-14.
30. That's right. They did have that late touchdown. You know what? Even at that point, I was such an optimistic Titans fan that I thought with them, if our defense had come out and put, had shut them down on their first possession of the second half, I thought that our offense was good enough and Mariota was good enough that we could have got back into this game. A few things happened. One, their offense came out and just made a statement in that first possession of the second half. Over an 8-minute drive, like 10 plays, over 70 yards, touchdown drive right off the bat to put it up 37-14. Second thing, I didn't know this, but Mariota was questionable / out of the game at that point. Yep. So two things right off the bat. One, poor reporting by CBS.
Yeah.
I got it. Come on.
They kind of took a while because we were
Did
looking
anyone
at
know that was coming? Yeah, we had to check Twitter. There was I saw Mariota after a second touchdown run where it looked like after he scored, he was on the sideline, kind of like hurt or upset or something.
Happy. Yeah, he
coaches consoling him. No kind of report from the CBS sideline reporters about a possible injury that I heard of. I could have definitely missed it, but that was a huge impact in the game and trying to work into it. But by that point, when we got the ball for the first time in the second half, it was 37-14 with Matt Cassel at the helm, and that's a wrap, guys.
That was the wrap of the game.
That comeback is not happening.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we learned a few things about our backup quarterback position, and that we sorely need anybody else, really. I mean, Cassel he did put up more points for the Texans than he did the Titans.
Oh, easily.
Hurt us.
Easily.
He had 3 turnovers.
Do you want to hear a joke real quick?
Cassel?
You want to hear a joke? Yeah, Matt Cassel's stat line. I thought Joe Flacco's stat line was bad last week. Look at Matt Cassel. He was 4 of 10 for 21 yards, a 2.1 yard average, with 2 interceptions and 1 fumble, one of those interceptions being returned for a touchdown. That, you should not be in the NFL.
Yeah. If you're coming in relief of your starting quarterback, and that's the output that you produce. There's going to be a lot of questions, lots of talk. What do the Titans do? Do we need to go find another backup quarterback ASAP? But first, we got to learn how severe Marcus's injury is.
Well, first, let's start with before we get into the depth of that position. Let's start with Marcus's day.
I felt like before, this leads into Marcus's day, but I think still, as with what the defense was giving us, I think if Marcus had a career day, I still don't know if we would have won this game, just from how poorly our defense was playing and how they were just tearing us up with whatever they wanted to do. Marcus's day, still not the best. Pretty poor. He had 2 really poor interceptions. Overthrowing the first one. Second one was kind of a jump ball to Matthews, and the rookie guy from Vanderbilt, Hall, betraying Nashville.
Yeah, way to go, Hal.
Hal Hall. And even on some of his completions, like I remember Matthews was reaching and had to dive to snag a few of those, and he was open, and Marcus wasn't putting it right on him, so he looked a little off too on some of his other throws.
Yeah, he did. What do you think that is attributed to? I mean, he did from the very first possession where he threw the pick on the third down. I mean, all through the first quarter, I think we finally started to see a glimmer of rhythm from him in the second quarter.
Oh, I think
it was fleeting. Through the whole first quarter, though, he looked scattered. He looked off target. He looked like a deer in the headlights almost. This is his third year. And this is his first. It's only his second time facing the Texans.
Yeah,
I think
first time was on the road last year.
Yeah, first time facing J.J. Watts. I know he hasn't had a lot of experience with them, but come on, what's the deal
know
here?
if it was anything different today. He started slow against Seattle. He started slow against Jacksonville. Maybe it's part of Marcus's thing that it takes a while for him to get in rhythm. Because we saw him get back in rhythm, and he was hitting accurate passes on our 2 touchdown drives that we had.
But still, he ran for those 2 touchdowns. He didn't throw for them.
I mean,
one being a 34-yard touchdown run, which was beautiful, which is why we can see some of Marcus's potential as a running quarterback, as a dual threat quarterback.
Yeah.
But as far as passing game going, establishing the passing game, establishing the offensive rhythm, I thought he was completely off today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was completely off. He was completely off to begin, but I felt like he was getting into a rhythm in the second quarter. Granted, he did throw that interception. That was was that the last time he was on the field? It was the second interception.
No,
because he didn't play at all in the second half.
I thought his last play was a touchdown run, but I'm not his second touchdown run. But I'm not positive.
Because I thought we had we had the 2-minute offense on the field. Then he throws the pick,
interception, yeah,
and then Byard had the answer interception to end the half.
Yeah.
So he did cap off his day with an interception, but I mean, yeah, he did. I see what you're saying. He definitely looked off to me too, but I felt like on those touchdown drives he had been getting into a rhythm. And I know he capped him off by running him in, but I saw some good throws to Delaney, Walker, and Rashard Matthews on those drives. I mean, I'm picking out like 2 drives here.
But early on,
I felt the rhythm coming back a little bit.
Yeah, and I did too. And honestly, I thought when we came out in the second half, before I had learned Marcus wasn't going to come back in the game, this game reminded me of 2 games. One, it reminded me of the Jags game when we played the Jags on Christmas Eve. It also reminded me of when we played the Chargers last year, because I thought Marcus started off really shaky, but then it came down to Marcus just like taking it on his own shoulders to come back into this game. And I thought that's what it was going to be. If we were going to get back into that game in the second half, I thought it was going to have to rely on Marcus being great, which I thought he had like 3 turnovers, I believe, in that Chargers game last year. But I thought it was one of his most exciting games to watch as a fan, because when he was on, he was on. He just had a few mistakes that cost us the game. And I thought going into the second half, I thought it was going to be all on Marcus's shoulders. We were going to kind of open it up for him to just see what he could bring to the table. Unfortunately, he was injured.
Yeah.
Which didn't help.
I think that's a good callback. But yeah. Even so, I mean, I'm going back to the defense. Like, I don't know if it would have meant anything anyway. But yeah, I saw the rhythm there at the very end. And he would have had to have taken it all on his shoulders. Because, yeah, we dug a huge hole. We were playing from behind the whole game.
To say the least. Okay, so let's go into the scenario. So apparently Marcus has a hamstring issue. Worst case scenario, it's a long-term issue.
Yeah.
And long-term I'm saying like 6 to 8 weeks. I don't think it's going to be I don't know. I was surprised when I saw that he wasn't coming back in the game, but let's say 6 to 8 weeks. As the Titans, after seeing Matt Cassel just, sell out for the Houston crowd because he wanted the Texans to do well with his performance, if you can call it a performance. What do you think the Titans do at this point? What would you do? What do you want to happen?
Real quick, I got a text from a friend during the game. Shout out to Spencer, if you're watching. What up, bro? He told me that he could easily lip read Mariota talking to the staff, and he saw him mouth the words, "I heard it pop." Yeah, I guess referring to his hamstring. So does that mean a tear? If it did pop, like, is that what happens? I don't know, but it doesn't sound good. If that's what he said. But I kind of want the Titans, if this is a long-term issue, to go quarterback shopping, if you will. Because what I saw from Cassel, it's too early to give up on the season if Mariota's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Jacksonville is super unpredictable still. The Colts, who knows when Andrew Luck is coming back. I mean, this division can still be competitive. And as a football fan, as a Titans fan, I still want to, even if Mariota's out for the year, I still want to show up every day on Sundays and try to win the division. That's still, I don't want any kind of tanking or anything like that.
And we're both in agreement. We're both in agreement here. We don't want to see tanking. We don't think this team's going to tank because we still think.
And I don't want to have the mindset that if Mariota's out for the season, then all is lost anyway.
But with Matt Cassel as the now the captain to that offense, I feel like it's out of reach.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. You're saying that if it's going to be a long-term issue, we need to find a different quarterback. We need to find a different leader for that offense than Cassel.
Yeah, Cassel.
He's not going to lead us to the playoffs.
Cassel, I felt like, really played himself out of the conversation to be our backup QB.
Yeah.
He did not help himself. He hurt himself severely in what he did when he came in relief of Marcus.
Which is funny because I feel like in the offseason, there was a big gap. A lot of people were calling for a different backup than Cassel, but I think you saw in the preseason game, there was a huge gap between Marcus and Cassel, obviously, but then you saw a really big gap between Cassel and Tanny. So it was obvious that Cassel was going to get the backup job, but I think it was obvious today in the game that Cassel if this team is built to be a playoff team, he cannot be the guy leading that as a backup. I think Marcus can, but if Marcus is going to be out long term, I think the Titans do go QB shopping.
Yeah, if he's going to be out longer than like 3 weeks, like I don't.
Think about looking ahead. Looking ahead.
I was going to say, do you think we can win next week against Miami if Cassel is the quarterback? And I mean that's a legitimate argument to make because the Dolphins lost 20-6 against the Jets. Then they just lost 20-0 against.
Yeah. If it hadn't been for their 2 losses, I would say no, honestly. But Miami is playing really bad. But looking ahead at the quarterback situation, we have Miami next week. Then we play Monday night against the Colts. Then we play the Browns. Then we have a bye week.
When is our bye? It's after the Browns.
It's after the Browns. So we have 3 more games in the bye week. If Marcus is going to be, if they're saying he's maybe 4 to 6 weeks, then I think the Titans are probably going to stick with Cassel and just ride it out through those next 3 games. I mean, 2 of those games.
Try to hang on until
after the bye week, which honestly is a little risky because if he's not fully healthy after the bye week, then I think you're kind of just sacrifice those 3 games depending on how they turn out. But 2 of those opponents, the Browns, and now seeing how the Dolphins have performed, should be pretty easy games on the schedule.
Winnable. Yeah, and even the Colts. Yeah. We've got 3 very winnable games coming up. Do you think Cassel, having him, do we have a shot at least getting one of those games before the bye week? Is the goal to get into the bye week at 3 and or how many games will we have played? 7? Would it be 3 and 4?
Yeah, it would be 7 by this point.
4 and 3. It's hard to say. So do you think we should go out and try to find another quarterback if the plan is to get Marcus back after the bye?
This is all speculation because we don't know what Marcus's injury.
Yeah, they could be like, he's fine.
You know what? God, the hamstrings have been the curse of the Titans team this year.
We need to hire a hamstring coach.
Yeah,
what are we doing to our hamstrings?
Hamstrings are so fickle. 1 second they can be fine, the next second you're out for like 3 weeks. Corey Davis. Or it's like week to week, and
Delaney Walker sat out practice because of a hamstring, but he was 100%.
It's honestly it's kind of frightening me more that it's a hamstring issue that we may not know exactly when he's going to be fully healthy, because now it's putting the Titans organization in a difficult situation. Yeah, if he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, they can probably stick with Cassel, maybe ride out these next 3 games, maybe get Marcus back after the bye week, but with hamstrings, you never know after the bye week if he's going to be there or if he's not going to tweak it right away. So I'm lost, man. I'll be honest. I don't know what to do.
In the darkness, we need answers.
I was listening to Titans Talk Back, and they were asking fans if Marcus's injury was long term, who they thought the team should bring in. And they kind of listed. They had a list of quarterbacks that are unemployed. Yeah. Here's one that and this may sound stupid, that was not brought up. People obviously mentioned Colin Kaepernick, Josh Freeman, people like that. RG3,
Matt Barkley.
Yeah, Matt Barkley, who would not.
Who tore us up, and then now he can't make a roster. I think that speaks more.
But you know who I didn't hear them mention, and this may make me sound very stupid. Possibly.
Jake Locker.
No, Tony Romo.
Hey-o! What's up, Tony Romo? Come down from that booth.
Miami got freaking Jay Cutler out of the booth.
Yeah.
Why can't we get Tony Romo out of the booth, playing behind a top offensive line with an established run game and
call him up. We won't let him get sacked. He's not going to get hurt behind our O-line.
No, Marcus hasn't been sacked that much.
He wasn't sacked today. They've allowed 2 sacks all year before this game.
Come on, out of the last 2 weeks,
Cassel got sacked twice.
Some of the best front sevens in the NFL, the Seahawks and the Texans, we've allowed 1 sack on our starting quarterback.
I like it.
I didn't know where you were going with it. Why was no one mentioning Tony Romo? I like it. Do you think we could offer him enough to get him out of that booth?
Did he not? Did he say something in some kind of interview that no, I have a definite no that I'm going to be returning to football this year.
Well,
I'm in the booth.
I think
obligated to fulfill.
It would have to be the right situation. Honestly, if I'm looking at a very long-term injury, very long-term, this is like emergency mode, like hit the panic button, fire alarm pulled mode. I don't know why we wouldn't try to offer the money to Tony Romo to get out of the booth.
I'm Team Romo. You got me excited.
On a playoff caliber team with that kind of established offensive line and run game, get him out of the booth.
How much money is CBS paying him? He's like their number one color commentator, and he's killing it now. Everyone loves him.
That may be ridiculous. I don't know what you're welcome to call me stupid for that, but
no, not really.
I'm just surprised that wasn't mentioned.
Best quarterback, not playing football right now in the NFL.
I mean, out of the season, he still wanted to play football. It's just, teams are.
He didn't want to sign with the Texans, though. Like,
Yeah,
what's the deal with that? They've got a good team.
They do, but I don't know. Okay. Moving on, because that's pretty much speculation.
Yeah.
Let's stick with this game.
Because there's literally not another quarterback available out there that is at all intriguing or enticing.
No.
There's a few more intriguing than Cassel right now.
We offered that question kind of up on Twitter. Obviously, the first flurry of responses were all Colin Kaepernick, which...
I don't really want to get into that. I mean, if you want to alienate the fan base, sure. I mean, not some of them, not all of them.
If I'm being honest, I would rather see Colin Kaepernick back there than Matt Cassel.
I think Colin Kaepernick is a lot better than Matt Cassel.
I do too. But
I watch football for football. I don't care what your political beliefs are.
If I had to put money on it, we are not going to sign Matt Cassel. It's just not going to happen.
Sign Matt Cassel? You mean Kaepernick?
I mean, we're not going to sign Colin Kaepernick.
We don't
it's just not going to happen. I'll put money on that the Titans are not going to sign Colin Kaepernick for whatever reason you want to speculate on. Mm-hmm. We're not going to get him on the team to play football for us.
Right.
So I don't know. That's a lot. We don't know the extent of Marcus's injury, so I don't know. But back to this game. Now the Titans fall to 2-2, which is a big difference from starting 3-1, 2-0 in the division. Now it's a first-way tie between the Jags, the Texans, and the Titans, and for the AFC South.
Jags got a jag again against the Jets. So they're 2-2.
Us, Jags, Texans, and Titans are all 2-2, all 1-1 in the division.
Division's still wide open. Nobody wants to take it again, it seems. Texans now look like the front runner to win the division. It feels like a different team every week they're the front runners in the AFC South. No, they are. I'm
really worried that today was the day that Deshaun Watson really came into his own to lead that team to the division victory. We let him just walk all over us.
It all comes back to the Browns, man. This is all the Browns' fault.
Yeah, okay. It was the Browns. Why did the Browns give the Texans one? They took out Brock Osweiler's contract and they gave him Deshaun Watson.
Whatever.
Okay.
All right.
We've gotten lost.
Great job, Deshaun Watson. You stupid franchise quarterback.
What else do you have to say about this game?
I don't know, man. I kind of just want to forget about it and look ahead.
I do too.
I want to find out how bad Mariota's injury is.
Okay, I brought this point up earlier, and I don't know if you gave your take. Explicitly gave your take on it, but 57-14 I kind of believe is starting to get into the realm of a fireable offense. Either to I think Malarkey's still safe, but looking and Robisky's
like mid-season fireable.
Yeah, mid-season fireable, possibly like if we don't get it turned around within the next 3 weeks, like with the bye week coming up. Like, that would be a good time to go ahead and make a change for the last half of the season. I mean, our bye week's kind of at a good time this year if we were going to make a change like that, because we still have 9 games left after the bye week, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So that's more than half the season. Go ahead and get 2 weeks of someone new. If I were going betting on this, I would say I think Malarkey's safe for the rest of the year. But man, I'm really starting to question Dick LeBeau and Terry Robisky. I don't know if that's just fan talk starting to get into my ears, but with Robisky especially. But seeing the offense start so slow, especially every single game this year, offense just looks out of sync in the first half. Finally, it feels like Mariota and them get it together in the second half. But happened again this week, and we couldn't get it together. And then the defense just laying an absolute egg today against the division rival.
I hadn't seen our defense play that bad in years. This is a loss that was worse than when we were going 3-13 and 2-14.
Yeah,
I don't know if we lost this badly in either of those.
Not to a division rival.
Yeah, man. What do you think? This team and division rival?
What would you think about that coaching situation?
It's funny because aren't the coaches almost like a package deal? Like, aren't both of those guys Malarkey's guys? Or no, LeBeau came in with Wisenhunt. I think Wisenhunt brought in LeBeau.
But he wasn't. He was assistant. He was an assistant at that point.
Because I couldn't see, like, because he definitely brought in Robisky. Like, they're buds. They're bros.
Yeah.
And remember, like, when Mike Munchak got fired, the question for him was, well, we want to let go of, like, all of your coordinators, but you can still be the head coach. And Mike Munchak was like, no, they're my guys. If you don't want them, then I don't want to be here. Or however it went down. So it's hard for me to see if, like, firing one without the other, because I know that's ultimately probably J-Rob's call, but him and Malarkey are buddy and tight. So I don't know. But I could see J-Rob pulling a string and firing Robisky over Malarkey for sure.
Yeah.
But mid-season,
you think LeBeau's still safe? I feel like everyone, Titans fans especially, are always like, and I mentioned this, LeBeau's kind of like the untouchable just because of his history, because of his track record. But the numbers are speaking for themselves. We've definitely improved the defensive personnel, and I thought we were pretty good through the first 3 weeks. This looked like we were the worst defense in the NFL today.
We could not stop anything.
Against a rookie.
I mean, I really don't know what to say. There's no explanation, no excuse. We're very healthy for the most part. This is a division opponent that we should know very well. Deshaun Watson's got 2.5 games of film to study, break down to see what he does well, what he doesn't do well. And it seems like we didn't do any prep. I mean, I know we did, but it didn't look like it. Nothing we tried was working.
Which I think that's a shocking thing. It looked like we had just gone from one game to the next game without even like talking about the Texans.
Yeah.
Even like,
not discussion.
Who's their quarterback? Yeah, we should probably guard number 10.
Shane Wilkins.
Yeah.
He will be. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Well, LeBeau, not a good look for him in this game. I don't see LeBeau getting fired mid-season. In the offseason, if things don't get better, then we'll probably go elsewhere. But like, who would be our defensive coordinator? Who's the assistant to him? I mean,
I am all for consistency in the coaching staff. I think if you want to form a good team, especially like over a long haul, you gotta stick with with coaching. But I think I've passed over too many blaring inconsistencies in Malarkey's coaching. One being divisional opponents. That cost us a playoff berth last year, how we played in our division, especially on the road. And once again this year, today was glaring, an eyesore, reminding me of all those issues from last year. Mm-hmm. I don't know at what point where it feels like he was completely outcoached, especially in the first half. By the second half, it was too far gone to even like make something of it. But in the first half, we were outplayed, outcoached, outsmarted, outschemed, whatever and at one point, do you want to try something else?
There's no like chalking it up to one game where we just could get nothing going. I mean, it looks bad. Yeah, it looks terrible. But you know what? It counts as one loss. We deserve that to count as like 3 losses on the schedule. But it's still one loss. This is a week-to-week league. And
why do I have sunglasses on?
We've been wearing them since the beginning, man.
It's because I'm too scared to look you guys in the eyes because of this embarrassing loss. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't want. We're trying to hide our identity a little bit.
I interrupted you. I apologize.
It's all right. I just lost the train of thought.
Sorry.
I was just saying it's a week-to-week league, and it counts as one loss. Looks terrible. Looks awful. Looks like we do not look like a playoff team, at least not this week. But I mean, what are we going to say next week if the Titans turn around and win 31-17 or something? I don't know. Are we going to be like, okay, we're back on track? What were we thinking last week? I'm just trying not to overreact to everything.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to add a different perspective.
I definitely understand your point. I'm just, as this trend continues, the trend of playing very poorly, especially the start games against divisional opponents on the road, in terms of Mike Malarkey's tenure, it is starting to be a constant issue in my mind, which an issue that I want to fix with the personnel we have as a team. So I'm starting to question that in myself. It's an internal issue I'm dealing with, and I'm just voicing this to you, man. I don't know what to do about it.
You sound very conflicted and heartbroken.
I don't want to just be an irrational fan where it's like, fire Malarkey, get someone else. But at the same time,
you've got the facts.
I want to look at the facts.
This has been a trend. The numbers are against him in starting games. And I think we talked about this in maybe it was last week's podcast, that the coaching game plan so far this year has not worked, but they've been able to adjust and overcome whatever hasn't been working So yeah, it seems to be like not just divisional games, but like every single game, we're not starting fast. We're starting slow offensively. Defense has been able to come out with some stops at the starts of games, at least this year. And we've normally just kind of relied on, fixing some things that weren't working in the game plan and going from there, and the offense would start to click eventually. That didn't happen in this game, and we couldn't stop anybody in this game.
No one. If I were on the field, I would have scored 5 touchdowns today against the Titans.
Yeah.
But it's really early. Let's be honest. This is week 4 of the NFL. We are 2-2.
Oh, you're starting to get optimistic.
We're tied for first in the division. Now, I want to keep it in perspective. I don't want to act like I'm just like dragging. You have given a knee-jerk reaction. I'm just saying if you think I'm giving a knee-jerk reaction, I want you to know that there's some evidence behind it. There's some troubling trends that I see with this young Titans team that I'm starting to wonder if going a different route wouldn't be the best option for the long term. Mm-hmm. I want to raise that to you. I want to hear your thoughts on it too. I'm questioning. I don't know what to think of it. I don't know what you think of it. I want to know what your thoughts are on it too. But it is still very, very early.
I would like to see consistent coaching with Mariota. I don't want to see a coaching cycle happen with him. I don't think that's good for his development.
Definitely not. And I'm all for that.
There's pros and cons. There's pros and cons if you want to it's risky making a head coaching change, and it's still early in the season. I want to see the season continue to play out a little bit more. But yeah, if these slow starts continue, I'm going to be more on that train.
And Mariota's injury isn't doing us any good, because now if he's going to miss multiple weeks, let's just go ahead and say he's out till the bye week, because I feel like that's probably a safe bet with a hamstring, especially with how gingerly they're treating Corey Davis's hamstring injury. They don't want to rush him back. I kind of feel like Marcus is going to miss. And with the
opponents coming up, seeing them, hey, maybe we can snag a couple of these games without Marcus.
Say we make it to the bye week 500. I think the Titans organization would take that as a win if Marcus is missing over, I guess 3 of those games, 3.5. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it's putting them in the tight situations, because halfway through the season Marcus comes back after the bye week and then we still have those issues. Is it too late to start to make a change to turn it around to salvage this season? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you want to get rid of somebody, but it's about who. Do you bring in somebody else, or you got to promote somebody from within?
Yeah,
like the quarterback's coach, Jason Michaels, who or is he an offensive coordinator as well with Robisky?
I don't know. I know Robisky is the play caller.
I know Mariota and Jason Michael are pretty tight, but it'll probably be him.
Regardless, if Mariota is not tight with anybody, it's his hamstring. Or it's the vice versa. His hamstring, he's too tight with his hamstring. Am I right?
Oh, man. Oh, Still got the jokes and the hard
too
days.
Late. Yeah,
it's all good.
Back to what I was saying. We're still tied for first in the AFC South. 2-2. The Monday night game will be telling against the Colts at home, because if we win that, we'll stay ahead. I want to stay ahead of our division. That's what cost us last year. Our record against this table is very squeaky, just like our defense. My hands super squeaky and leaky. All right, man, you wrap it up. I don't know what to say.
Riley, if you're watching this, congratulations. Oh man. You really showed us up, Madden and in real life. So Texans take this one, 57-14. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Anything you didn't think we covered?
Pray for Mariota. We could in the special teams game.
We could point out. They had defense. One long return on us. We could point out individual play. Like I thought, Adoree Jackson had his worst game of the year.
Everybody. Played bad.
Everyone had their worst game of the year.
If we try to find someone who played good, that would be a story.
Who did
even
play
like
good?
Rashard Matthews was falling down on routes. I saw him fall down early in the game on a pass play.
Mariota looked off in his chemistry with receivers all game. Oh, it was bad, man.
It was bad. Everybody played bad. We didn't give up a sack in the first half, at least when Mariota was in. So good job on pass protection, O-line.
Maybe that's the one bright spot
just against J.J. Watt. The light in the darkness.
J.J. Watt still has not sacked Marcus Mariota in his career.
This is the first time in 8 games where J.J. Watt did not get a sack against the Tennessee Titans. Streak broken.
Whoa! Look at that! So look at those stats we're dropping.
I saw it on the telly.
On the television. That's short for televisione, which is the box where you watch the Titans game if you're not at them.
So Houston looking like the team to beat now in the AFC South. Thought it was us last week.
You know, I saw a headline going into this game where it's like, is it time for changing of the guard in the AFC South?
I saw that too. We got jinxed.
Yeah, we did get jinxed. I don't know what happened, but I think we proved it today that it's not time for a changing of the guard.
The guard is still with the Texans.
Titans have a lot of growing up to do if we want to take this division and make it make it to the playoffs first, and then try to make it a legitimate Super Bowl contender. We have a lot of growing up to do, a lot of learning to do as a team, both sides of the ball, all three sides, special teams, offense, and defense. So let's learn from this loss. Let's take it in stride. Hopefully Marcus's injury is not severe.
When you go to bed tonight, please say a prayer for Marcus Mariota and the hamstring gods so they can mend it back together.
What kind of did we must have done something to upset the hamstring deities because we've had super bad karma with all of our hamstrings on the team. I would love to get Corey Davis back. I'd love to get Mariota back. Okay, anyway.
I want to see all these people playing. All right, I'm done. Do you want to get out of here? Let's watch football more.
Let's get out of here. Let's find something to go forget about this loss.
I wonder what that could be.
Well, guys, thanks for watching or listening or whatever. It's your guys, Caleb and Justin from Titans Tube, just ranting about the Titans and stuff.
Rant away
after the game. So we always appreciate your fandom, and here we go again. I don't know.
It's just trying to wrap it up. Just ranting about wrapping it up.
Rant about wrapping it up.
Hit us up. Follow us on the social media stuffs, and we'll get them Dolphins next week.
Oh,
let's go get us a quarterback too.
Oh, coming for you, Jay Cutler. Maybe we can sign Jay Cutler from the Dolphins.
Yeah, maybe we could work a trade in. Ooh. Do we have anybody that we could trade? Are we about to open up a new segment as we're closing?
I would trade Matt Cassel for sure. Get him off the team.
You could probably get like a 9th round pick for Matt Cassel.
That's enough. You guys take it easy. Peace out. Tighten up right there, back there on the sign. Tighten up. Keep it real.